If you're a dog owner, you know what it's like. You are constantly swimming in a sea of advice, right? It comes from the internet, from your friends who mean well, even from total strangers at the dog park. It can get so overwhelming, and frankly, a lot of it just doesn't make sense.
You hear all these questions. Should I feed a raw diet? Is that more natural or is it dangerous? Is grain-free really better or is it just a clever marketing trick? Should you shave your fluffy dog when it gets hot? And what is the deal with all the vaccines? I mean, it is enough to make your head spin, and it turns something that should be joyful, caring for our best friends, into this really complicated puzzle.
So it's time to just cut right through all of that noise. In this explainer, we are going to tackle some of the biggest dog health myths head-on. Our goal here is to give you clear, science-backed answers, so you can walk away feeling confident that you're making the absolute best decisions for your furry family member.
Let's start with a really big one: medicine, and more specifically, preventative care. Vaccinations, they're a cornerstone of keeping our pets healthy, but boy, are they a magnet for fear and a lot of misinformation.
Okay, so one of the most common myths you'll hear is that indoor dogs live in some kind of safety bubble and don't need their shots. But the reality is, that bubble doesn't exist. Viruses don't politely stop at your front door. They can literally hitch a ride into your home on your shoes, on your clothes, or even just waft in through an open window. The bottom line is, even the world's biggest couch potato dog needs protection.
Now, of course, people worry about the risks of the vaccines themselves, and that's a totally valid concern. But it really is all about perspective. While, yes, extremely rare side effects are possible, they are just dwarfed by the protection these vaccines give against some truly devastating and often fatal diseases. When you really weigh the options, the choice becomes pretty clear. The protection is so much more significant than the tiny risk.
And this is so crucial to understand. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all vaccine schedule. A tiny puppy needs a whole series of shots just to build up their immunity from nothing. A senior dog, on the other hand, has completely different needs. Even where you live and your dog's breed play a huge role. That's why working with your vet to create a personalized plan is, well, it's non-negotiable.
All right, let's switch gears. We've talked about what goes into their veins. Now let's talk about what goes into their bowl. Nutrition is another area that is just packed with fads and so much conflicting advice. So what should you really be feeding your dog?
The raw food diet is everywhere, isn't it? It gets praise for being more natural. But you know what? Natural doesn't always mean safe. Raw meat can be contaminated with dangerous bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli, which is a risk for your dog and for your family. And on top of that, trying to create a nutritionally balanced homemade raw diet is incredibly difficult, and it often leads to dogs missing out on essential nutrients. Okay, let's tackle the other giant in the room: grain-free food. It is plastered on every premium dog food bag you see. But is it actually necessary for your average dog?
The actual science here might surprise you. For the vast majority of dogs, grains are a perfectly healthy source of energy and nutrients. What's even more concerning is that the FDA has actually been investigating a potential link between some grain-free diets and a very serious heart condition. So the takeaway here is really simple. Unless your vet has specifically diagnosed your dog with a grain allergy, there is no health reason to avoid grains.
And hey, while we're on the subject of what to feed them, let's be crystal clear about what not to. It is so tempting to share your snacks, I get it, but some human foods are just straight up poison for dogs. Grapes, chocolate, onions, and their relatives like garlic, they are at the very top of that list. It is always safest to just stick to treats that are made specifically for them.
A dog's health isn't just about what's happening on the inside. So let's talk about grooming. Because how you care for their coat, their teeth, and their nails can have a huge impact on their well-being. And there are some really common mistakes to avoid.
Oh, this is a classic summer myth. You have to shave your fluffy, double-coated dog to keep them cool. It seems so logical, but it's actually one of the worst things you can do. That thick coat is a marvel of natural engineering. It works as insulation, trapping cool air near the skin in the summer and warm air in the winter. When you shave it all off, you destroy that natural climate control system and you expose their sensitive skin to a really dangerous sunburn.
And we have to talk about teeth. That doggy breath, it isn't just a nuisance. It can be a sign of dental disease, which can lead to serious health problems all over their body. The good news, though, is that a pretty simple routine makes a huge difference. Brushing their teeth at home, using safe dental chews, and scheduling professional cleanings with your vet.
So, we've busted some pretty big myths about medicine, nutrition, and grooming. But all of this information really brings up the most important question of all. With so much noise out there, where do you turn for reliable answers from now on?
I mean, the internet is like a fire hose of conflicting advice, and it seems like everyone you meet is suddenly an expert. So in all that chaos, how do you find the one source of truth that is right for your dog?
This quote really just gets to the absolute heart of being a responsible pet owner. Our choices can't be based on what's trendy or on our personal beliefs about what seems natural. They have to be based on science and our dog's actual biological needs. And that is exactly why your veterinarian is your single most valuable partner. They have the medical training and they have direct knowledge of your specific pet, so they can cut through all that noise. They are your absolute best resource for creating a personalized health plan that will help your dog live the longest, healthiest, and happiest life possible.
So the next step is yours. Just start a conversation. Never ever be afraid to ask your vet questions. Based on what we've talked about today, what is one question you'll ask at your dog's next checkup? Because being an informed, proactive partner in their health is truly the greatest gift you can ever give them.